Hi everybody, welcome Mr. George. Before I introduce you to you, Mr. George, apologize to all the audience because we have a little bit problem, technical problem. We resolve it at the end. Today I am introducing you a big organization that I am glad I know it. And as you know, in our Islam tradition, our Prophet he says, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. He says, nobody of you be a good believer until he loves to his brothers what he loves to himself. I discovered this great organization. I can see just by chance. I am benefiting from this organization. I want everybody who are involved in media, especially I have many brothers here in Winnipeg, in Manitoba in general, to know this organization. And I am sure you will not regret, you will benefit a lot, and you will thank me at the end. Today, I asked Mr. George to accept my invitation, and he accepted. I thank him a lot uh, in order to speak, and he is the president of this organization, Canadian Freelance, to speak and to explain everything, how you can become a member, and everything. Thank you, Mr. George, and introduce yourself. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us how you got involved with Canadian Freelance Guild, CFG, and how did your journey with CFG?
I'd be happy to. Abdeslam, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you and your audience today. I've been a writer for a very long time, and I was a full-time journalist. I worked in newspapers, magazines, and then I started working in radio. But before that, I joined an organization that was originally called the Periodical Writers Association of Canada. And periodical meaning newspapers and magazines that came out on a regular basis, either daily or monthly or whatever. And I belonged to that organization for quite a long time. They represented most of the freelance magazine and newspaper writers in Canada at the time. And because of many changes in the industry over the years, so this goes back to the 1980s. As you know, newspapers have changed. Here we are doing a radio conversation across the country with video. And that was a dream you'd read about in science fiction magazines of the day. But of course, newspapers and magazines went through some really difficult times. For newspapers, it was the lack of advertising dollars that moved to the internet. And I'd moved from newspapers and radio into television. And because I felt that I needed to learn how television worked, and that got me into a union. And I worked in television for 5 years. And I went from being part of an association of freelancers to a union. I paid union dues. I ultimately left, and I rejoined what had become the Professional Writers Association of Canada instead of the periodical. Same people, they just realized that a name change had to be made. So I rejoined them, and they were having a difficult time because a lot of their members still work for newspapers, magazines. Here's a very chilling reality. The price for work in the Canadian newspaper and magazine industry is the same now as it was in 1985. So imagine getting paid in 1985 dollars for work being done now. It makes it almost impossible to make a living freelancing for newspapers and magazines. And that's led to a lot fewer people. It became obvious that the Professional Writers Association of Canada was not going to be able to survive. In fact, at one point it went into bankruptcy. It was technically bankrupt. It had less money in the bank than it had bills on the desk. And it was saved, myself and a bunch of people who were committed to this organization and mainly to the community, because this is a fairly small community, really, in a country the size of Canada. You know, when you have several hundred professionals in one very specific area working together. There are fewer journalists now than there were in the 1980s, but there are many more people doing what you're doing, right? And there was a time when it would have been impossible for us to give you a media card, right? Because you said, oh, well, show me examples of newspaper articles you've written. Show me examples of magazine articles you've written. Well, here you are with an example of having a live media audience that you deal with professionally. So now, as we saw the Professional Writers Association get smaller and smaller, there was another group. And the other group is part of what's called CWA Canada. And CWA Canada is a union. The Professional Writers Association was not, it was an association. But within CWA Canada, which represents CBC employees who are not management, in other words, all the producers, writers, broadcasters, they're members of CWA Canada as part of the CBC branch of that union. And they had a group of freelancers because, unlike almost every other union in the country, even ones that represent media workers, and we're not the only union representing media workers, we're the largest. It's the only all media union in Canada. CWA Canada actually negotiates freelance union rates in their regular CBC contracts. In other words, they bring freelancers along to the table, which is quite remarkable because no other union does that. You know, Abdeslam, there are many unions that really don't like freelancers because they think freelancers are out to take union jobs. And I can tell you that the majority of our members are not there because they had to be, maybe initially, but most of them have been freelancing for 5, 10, 15, some for 50 years. So these are people who are clearly serious about it. They're not amateurs about it. So anyway, we have the Professional Writers Association of Canada in troubled times. We have CBC freelancers who are kind of small and too small to get services. So there was a conversation that went on, myself and Don Genova, and Don is a member of the Canadian Freelance Guild. He was a founding member. He was our first executive director, and we inherited him from the CBC freelancers inside CWA Canada. And we formed a new organization called the Canadian Freelance Guild. So we took these two groups that were quite different but similar. We had a number of members who were actually members of both groups. And over a 2-day, actually 3 days in Toronto, with about
when it started? When
it started exactly 2 weeks before COVID shut down the entire country.
2020.
2022.
2022.
Yeah. We started in the beginning of February, and within a couple of weeks, we couldn't meet again in person. We couldn't have community meetings. We couldn't get together. We couldn't have two people in the same room. So we had to be instantly national, instantly online, 100%.
Yes.
And yeah, so that's, our timing was atrocious, but I suppose it would have been worse if we tried to do it after.
Okay, Mr. George, if you would like, I will show our audience and our the website of the organization to know it.
Thank you.
Just I want people to know it first. Then after, someone, if call me, brother, just wait, please, a few minutes. Then we will open for people who want to ask any question or to call, please. We are just in the introduction now. So this is the website of the organization CFG, which means Canadian Freelance Guild. If you just write it, you will just write Canadian Freelance Guild Canada. you will get the same website, the same page that I have. And everything explained here. If you read it, everything. So example here, about membership, about us. I will click about us, say here in the corner, about us. But it gives you the page and you can read everything that you need, everything. Then it explains everything here. Everything that you need, the videos, the member, everything is explained here. Okay. So now, from time to time, I will show the page for people to know it. And the second question, Mr. George, is what are the main services offered by CFG to its member in the freelance community?
Well, I wonder if we could go back to the website for a moment.
Okay.
Okay, and there's a part of the main page, and once we go to that, that's the best place to get a full list of everything that we provide. Almost everything is in there.
Okay.
Here we go. Now, if you can scroll down the page just a tiny bit, and okay,
like that?
right there, you see the little boy with his arms out?
Here,
Like
yes.
he's going to
The
fly?
job.
Yes, click
Yes.
on that, and that will take you to our member services page.
Okay, I click.
Yeah.
It's light, it turns light here. I don't know. Okay. It doesn't open anyway.
It's not opening.
Yes, it does. It doesn't open. It doesn't open. I don't know.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah. Okay. So this here about us. It's open all this page about us. Member service. Join us. Your member professional. Calendar. Job bank. You wanted to click in job bank, right?
Actually, oh, that's really strange.
Job bank and webinars and marketing, media card.
Yeah, there's something strange going on here because I don't know that I'm getting the same error that you're getting.
So here, these member services, they join us today. You want me to click here and join us today?
No, I'm thinking that would be just about right. The way this is going, I'm thinking there may be an issue on the website today.
If you share it in websites from your side, it will be here.
Yeah. Okay, there is something broken on the website. Oh, here it is. No, it isn't. Okay, hang on a sec. I'm going to, if you'll just bear with me 1 second.
Yes, no problem.
I'm just setting our IT person now. We go to the home page, hit member services.
Or maybe you can log in from your page.
Broken. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, I can tell you from memory what we do.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, and I'm not exactly sure what went on. So, as you can see, there's the slider at the top
Yes.
has a whole bunch of notifications. In this case, we're primarily looking at recordings that have just been recently posted to our video archive. And we provide, as you know, a lot of professional development. and finding and getting grants. This is one of our authors. One of the services we provide is contract and negotiations advice. I've been doing a fair number of workshops with my colleague who I work with on artificial intelligence training. And in this case, it was how to protect yourself. Here's the three people you see in this panel have been involved in contracts and negotiations. Amongst the three of them, they have over 100 years experience. I mean, so these are all members of the Canadian Freelance Guild, and they're the ones who provide the expertise to share with other members. So this is one of the most important things we provide. We also have what's called a contract and negotiations service. And this is one of the members who, I mentioned Don Genova. He's our former executive director, and you can see his picture there with the coffee cup. He is he's an expert in particularly CBC freelance contracts, but he's also looked at book contracts, magazine contracts, and so on. And we don't provide legal advice. If you want that, go to a lawyer. But what he will do is look through your contract and tell you if there are any things that he thinks are troubling that you might want to try to negotiate, or maybe you're being taken advantage of, or maybe you should be getting paid more than they put on the contract.
Yes.
So that's the kind of service Don provides to members. And so we've got professional development. We have, as you can see, our members are panelists, and we compensate them for being panelists. It's not a big, we don't give them, hundreds of dollars, but we do compensate them for being panelists. Plus, obviously, they get to promote their skills and their capabilities. Their faces are all over the website, and you're seeing people that are active full-time freelancers. Pardon me.
No problem.
In addition to that, we publish an online magazine. It's called The Storyboard. We've been publishing it it'll be 15 years this November. And it's free, and it's all about freelancing. Our members are able to pitch stories. If you have a good story idea about freelancing, you can pitch it to the editor of The Storyboard. When it's accepted and ready to publish, which is a pretty fast process, you get paid for it. We don't have a really big budget, but we do publish, I think, about 12 to 15 stories a year. You mentioned our job bank. We have someone who has been, now she started doing this with the Professional Writers Association of Canada years ago. And there was somebody else who also did it for the CBC freelance branch. So when we merged into the Canadian Freelance Guild, as you see now, we kept them both on. One of them left to get a full-time job with CBC, which is what she'd always wanted. And Robin, who is our current job bank curator, has been doing this now for over 10 years. And there is definitely an error.
Yes, there is something wrong. This is why it doesn't open.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, my apologies for this.
No.
We're pretty. I'm
It's
surprised I haven't gotten emails and phone calls about this.
Yes.
Yeah, some of it's working, some of it isn't. Yeah, there it is. The job bank working? Yes, the job bank is definitely working.
It's work now?
The job bank is.
Okay, I will check. This one?
Yeah, right under member services on the left.
So just click here, right?
Yeah, just click right on the job bank, or below the child with the helmet on. It's right underneath there.
Yes, it's open now.
There it is. The job bank is working. It's another part of the site that's not working, and I don't know what it is. That page is broken.
So it works now.
Yeah, the job bank is, but the member services page is not. So the job bank is.
Sorry, Mr. George. What is the relation of CFG with job bank?
This is the job bank is a service that we provide free of charge to our members.
Yes.
And you can see the picture of the woman there. That's Robin Rosti. And Robin curates the job bank. She goes looking for jobs that our members say that they're interested in. And mostly writing and editing work. But in order to see the details, you have to be logged in.
Yes. This is log in here. You should to have your.
Yes. So if you're a member, then I'm going to log in, make sure that's working. Yep, the login is working.
Okay. Confirm purchase. Anyway.
So I can, because I'm logged in to the same page you're on, I can see the details. I can see what publication this is. I can see when the deadline is. And we get people submitting jobs to us, plus we go looking for jobs. Robin looks on job boards, social media, and she posts 4 to 5 times a month, typically 5 to 7 different jobs. I don't have the report in front of me, but it seems to me there were something like 11 or 1,200 postings in the last 12 months. So it's pretty active, and it's one of the features that our members like most. We know that because we ask. At least twice a year, we send out a survey. We have a new one that's going out with our newsletter. We started a monthly newsletter at the beginning of this year, and in conjunction, I think it's only going to members.
Yes.
But it's a survey saying basically just asking them more details about what they want, what they don't want, what's more important to them, this or that. And that helps direct us because we don't want to be doing things that members aren't interested in.
Okay, Mr. George, we make one short break and we will read some comments of the audience, then we continue. Stay with me. Thank you. Rashid Zazouni, and this is my friend in Morocco. He is also involved in media. He says, good evening to you and your guests. Thank you, Mr. Rashid. It's from Morocco. Jalal Isahi also, greeting to you. We thank you, Mr. Abdul Salam, for this wonderful program on job search in Canada, and we also thank your guests for the clarification. No, this is not. It's not just for work. This is for CFG is Canadian freelance, and this is why I invite Mr. George to speak about. He is the president of this organization. Mr. Amr, you can call now because you called before. When you can call if you want, or I give you a call. This Amr also he is here in Winnipeg, and he has a radio, cafe radio, and he is interested to learn about CFG. Maybe after the show, he can contact you. He have many questions. I am calling you, Amr. Okay, when you are ready, you can call. You can call later, Amr, when you are ready. So, Mr. George, now, what rights and benefits do CFG members, or before that, what are the conditions for someone if you want to be a member in CFG?
Right. So CEG, Canadian Freelance Guild, obviously Canadian. So
Yes.
Canadian citizens and legal residents can be members of the Canadian Freelance Guild, provided they are media workers of some kind. And as I mentioned in my earlier comments, media have changed an awful lot in the last, especially in the last 15 years. Pardon me. So we expect you to be a media worker. Well, I don't work in newspapers or magazines or for television news anymore. I work mainly online as a video producer and editor. My son he's a member as well. He's primarily a coder. He's also a writer, but he is our technical support. And he, in his working life as a freelancer, he basically does integration of back ends and front end websites. We have people who write, who like you, who have online radio stations. We have several members who have popular YouTube channels. We have members who are podcasters, people who write content for other websites or for other programs. We have people who record podcasts for people who want to do them but don't know how to do the recording and publishing. We have publishers, we have authors. It's a very mixed bag. We have a fair number of travel writers. That seems to be one of the areas that's very safe at this point from artificial intelligence, because the robots can't go out and eat the food and swim in the ocean. They can't talk to the taxi driver who knows everything about everybody in the town that they're in.
Yes, we have Khalid, sorry.
No, great. That call's going to you, right? Yep. Okay.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Abdulsalam. How are you? Greeting, Mr. George.
Hello, Amir. Nice to see you and hear you. Where are you?
Nice to see you in Salam channel, and greeting for you and greeting for Mr. Abdulsalam. He is the leader of the media in Manitoba for Arabic media, and I always see his program. And let me first, I would like to welcome you as a dear guest on Radio Salam program, Mr. George.
Thank you.
And actually, I want to tell you a brief of myself. My name is Amir Hussein. I am Egyptian, and I hold a Bachelor of Media Journalism from Cairo University. And actually, I work all kind of media. I work as a journalist. I was as an editor, as a TV reporter in Dubai. I worked 12 years in Middle East. In Middle East, I used to work in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, Bahrain, Oman as a TV reporter with NRT TV and Al Yom newspaper. So I came here to Canada from 1.5 years ago. And actually, I think when we come here as a newcomer in Manitoba, they will tell us, what is your profession? I will tell him I'm a journalist or TV reporter, and they will collect like groups and see how can make you a positive person in Canada, and put you in like groups to make something in your profession and improve something in your profession. But actually, I didn't find any help. So I would like to know, what are the mechanism and plans through which your organization can support journalists and the media professional. As I have been here as I told you, 1.5 years, and I have not found any means or to help me in my media work. So finally, I decided to start my own podcast program for Arab community. As you know, Arab community is 22 country. We speak the same language. So we have a big community here and big fans here. They need necessary to create the media especially for them. So I need to know if it is any support from your organization. I wish to have like a radio station or a TV station, or also, if I have a social media, I already have now a media podcast. It's named Canada Cafe Podcast, if you can search about it. And I interview the most famous and most successfully Arab community in my Arab community. And we talk about his successfully how he's success in Canada, and how he started in Canada. So what I always search about any organization to support our media here in Manitoba in Arabic, because it's very big community, as I told you. And if organization cannot help us, just tell us where and how we can improve our work in Canada. Thank you, and sorry for I take a long time, I know, but sorry to discuss everything for you, Mr. George.
Amir, thank you. No, that was helpful. Oh, can Amir still hear us? I hope. Yes. Okay. I've got his YouTube channel up, and I will have a look at it. It says Canada Cafe Podcast, and let me just look at it. January 19th, 2025, 5 visitors, 130 subscribers. Okay. Okay, I will have a look at that. So I think there are a couple of obvious issues. One is I am not, I would not even begin to claim that I have any serious expertise in the state of Arabic speaking, broadcasting, news magazines, YouTubes in Canada. What I know is from members like Absalom who have joined, and there are others. There are other members from different communities, not necessarily Arabic, who are going through the same issue. Part of it is, as you know, how big is your audience, and are they willing to pay? And one of the things that is very clear is that Facebook has had a tremendously negative impact on Canadian local media. It's had a big impact on the major media, but it's even worse for small local media because they have banned links to news. And if you're doing journalism, you're going to be categorized as news, which means that Facebook is a place you can't go anymore. And I can tell you from publishers and reporters and so on talking to me about English and French language media in Canada, what they're saying is we're shrinking. I was in this is so terrible, and I wish I wasn't saying this to you. I was in an awards ceremony in Halifax 2 weeks ago, and there was somebody there who got an award for 35 years of service to her community, and it's a town of a few thousand people in Western Nova Scotia. And when she started her newspaper career, there were 120 people in the building. Now she's the only one left in town. So that's the state of English language media. And that's the environment you're starting in. So what I would suggest is, what can we do to help? Our expertise as an organization is what I'd call in the business of freelancing. We're really good at the business of freelancing, how to make freelancing work as a business. And because a lot of people come to the writing community because they want to write and it sounds like fun and they want to be creative. But if you want to make a living from it, you have to treat it like a business. And I think any of you who have been involved deeply, and it sounds like you've been deeply involved in media, Emmer. I'm sure you and I have stories we could share about how it goes sideways on live television. But I think what we can share, we can't teach you how to necessarily. Well, we do have an expert in YouTube. She basically works as a YouTube expert. She's from Iran. And she's the one who's been leading our development because she's so good at YouTube. And I'm assuming that we've helped her and her husband, who's also a journalist, with things Canadian. How does this work? Taxation, we do that every year. Every year we do a panel discussion with some of our financial experts. We have people who teach accounting in university. They know their business, and they talk about what are the changes for the new tax season. And we also talk once a year about how to get your business ready for your year end, regardless of whether it's the end of December or some other time. And these are good practices. As you see, this is all business related, contracts and negotiations, marketing for freelance writers, right? We're not going to teach you how to become a freelance writer, but we will help you not get taken advantage of when it comes to contracts or, how to stay out of trouble with the Canada Revenue Agency. And we also will we do this at least once a year, how to get government contracts. The government of Canada is the largest employer in the country, and they hire many writers. They hire translators, right? I would not be surprised if there is translation work available for people who are able to write and speak Arabic and English and or French. The federal government hires a lot of people with skills that my members have. Emir, I'd be happy to continue this conversation with you, and I'm not saying you have to join us to do it. I would be happy to have the conversation with you, and you can reach me at organizer@canadianfreelanceguild.ca or go to the website. And if you go into the contact us, you'll find many ways to get in touch with me. If you just put something about my name in there, just attention George. And I don't have Facebook currently.
I put the link in comments, Mr. Amr, and I send it to you too. Organizer. Yes.
Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. George, we continue. Thank you, Amr, for calling us, and you can contact Mr. George after, if you want. This is the address. So, Mr. George, what are the rates that benefit the members when they become members?
I'm not. I don't quite understand. Sorry.
The members when they become members with your organization. What are the rights that they can have? What they can benefit? All these things.
Right. Okay. So members get access to our job bank if they want. They don't have to. Mm-hmm. That's a freebie. Members who are working journalists are able to apply for, and if they qualify, get, in addition to a Canadian Freelance Guild membership card, which every member gets, they can also apply for the Canadian Freelance Guild media card. And that's an official press card. It has your picture on it. And it is expected to be accepted by anyone who's checking press credentials in Canada. It's a domestic media card issued by a legitimate media organization with the backing of CWA Canada. It's the same level of media card that CBC journalists get. So we're pretty careful. You have to be able to qualify. We have to be convinced that you are a working journalist and that this is not entirely volunteer. But we're, we do our best to be flexible because we're seeing a lot of new media that's different, and we want to be as accepting of that as possible. You get access to our entire archive of videos, and there's over 100. The videos that you're seeing scrolling by, there's more than 100 of those in our library, and members have full access to those. And we see members going back through, and one thing that we're going to be doing with members, and this hasn't even been announced yet, the members don't know about this, but it's a special self-training program, and it's basically for those who are new to the organization. It's how to get started, where to start. For those who have been a freelancer for a while, it's here, let's review some of the basics of freelancing. It's over 4 weeks. It's done by basically do it yourself. You can submit your homework if you want to or not. You can join a community chat and talk to other people that are taking this self-directed course or not. It costs nothing, and it's just an additional service to members. We also have something called unionsavings.ca, and all of our members have access to it. It offers discounts on everything from clothing to computers to telecommunication services, and most of the discounts I've seen have been in the 10 to 15% range. So it's not insignificant. What's kind of funny is that it doesn't get a lot of traffic or a lot of usage from members who are full-time employees of the CBC, and they couldn't figure that out. And I said, well, it's obvious. They don't buy their own computers. They don't buy their own phones. Their employer buys them. My members, we buy our own stuff. So this is very important to us. And that just became available 2 months ago. You have the right to vote. You have the right to attend board meetings. Our board meetings are held in front of the membership. Any member in good standing can come to a board meeting, can comment, can't vote at board meetings because only the board can vote, but you can certainly have your say, and people do. The other thing that you are allowed to do is to stand for office. In other words, you can become a director and a member of the board, and you get to vote and make motions at the annual general meeting, which obviously is held once each year. And we just had ours on the 14th of June.
Yes, last week.
Yep, you were there, and you heard us doing something that we really didn't want to do, but we have to. We're raising our dues. It turns out that the dues level were set back in 14 years ago. So prices have changed since then. So this is something we put off as long as we possibly could, but with prices going up as much as possible.
Yeah.
I see a question here from Jalal.
Jalal, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jalal, he says, can I get information about working in Canada? I work for a big company, Figura Automotive, and I am a workhouse magazine. No, brother Jalal, this topic today is about media, about Canadian Freelance Guild. But about your question, you can check my page. I recorded many programs about immigration, and just write the title, Express Entry Program to Canada. Is the easy program not to enter if you are qualified. There are many videos I record, and there are many families, they come here, hundreds of people, they come to this province, Manitoba, and it's free. Just they pay the for their paper. I don't get any money about that. Everything I do it free. Just enter to my page, find the videos about immigration, and inshallah you can find. But you need to maîtrise French or English. This is very important, and to have 2 years experience, and to not be more than 45 years. You should be less than 45 years. This is are very important. And you can contact me after, then I will explain you more about that. Thank you. Yes, Mr. George.
I would like to ask you a question.
Yes.
Thanks to artificial intelligence, we are able to some extent, not perfectly, but we would be able to put information on our website in Arabic.
I am able to do it.
We could ask artificial intelligence to translate what we have on the website into Arabic. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
No, it's good idea, but they make many mistakes.
Yes, of course they will.
They need someone who know Arabic very well to correct what they did. But they help. It helps. Right. It helps, but it needs correction after that. Sometimes yes. But I am able to do that. We can speak about that later. I am able to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do it. If you want to add it, you can do it.
Well, I know that I don't write in French.
Yes.
But I have had communication with members who preferred that I communicate with them in French. And I said, I'm going to use artificial intelligence. As long as you understand that, are you okay with that? And so far, it has been acceptable.
It helps, but sometimes they misunderstood. They change the meaning. They change the meaning. The some words. Yeah, this is why.
Yeah. So we're being very.
I give you just example. I give you just example, like fun, like a joke. Example in our culture. I am from Morocco. The mothers, the elder mothers, if she want to warn his son, if he did something, the small kids tell him, if you don't stop to do that, I will. This is by Arabic. I am saying you by English to understand. By Arabic, it's and I say it by Arabic. Then I will give you translation. تقول إذا ما جلستيش نشدك نقتلك. The meaning is if you don't stop to make noise, I will catch you and kill you. This is the translation, but it's not the meaning that. If they make translation word by word, this is what will happen. Is very wrong. But the meaning, just the mother want to warn her son to stop, to not make noise, to not misbehave. This is the meaning. But if you make translation word by word, it's totally different.
Yes, of course. Of course. Lack of nuance.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Mr. George, if you can summarize to give an overview, and if you have any final words to our audience to conclude our meeting, you are welcome.
Well, I'd first of all like to thank you and everyone here who's been so generous tonight with your time. And thank you for being part of the Canadian Freelance Guild and for giving me the opportunity to talk about what I think is one of the most amazing collections of professional media workers I've ever had the pleasure to work with. You mentioned I'm president. The proudest thing I do with this group is I'm the operations team leader. We're all part-timers, we're all members, and it's a group of people who work for very little money to make all of this stuff happen that you see. And we are committed to building this community, to supporting people who are media workers, who are trying to figure it out, whether it's journalism in the traditional sense, or whether it's journalism as we're doing right now. We want to be supportive of that, and we want to do everything in our power to help people, whether you're born here or not. I'm an immigrant. I'm from Scotland, and I came to Canada. This is my second time. I've been here a long time. I'm a citizen. I think it's just a great place to live. I like that we can have conversations like this. I love the differences that our members bring, just the skills. yes, one of our operations team members he does speak fluent Arabic. That's one of the reasons I asked you about this, but he's not always around, right? So it's multilingual. You can see that, you know, it's men, women, we work together, and we're just trying to help each other. And I just think it's an extraordinary community. And if you're a media worker and you think this might be of interest, we'd be happy to let you try us out.
Thank you very much. So for everybody, this is the web of the organization, CFG, Canadian Freelance Guild. Just write it in Google and write Canada. Then you will get this page there. Everything that you need, it's explained here. How to be a member and everything that you need is here. And this meeting just introduction. Maybe you can have more meeting. You are very welcome, Mr. George, or anybody from the organization. Radio Salam is platform for you and you are very welcome. And thank you also to accept me in your organization. I feel like I am in a family now of Canadian Freelance Guild. And thank you for everybody. Monsieur Amr, you can contact Mr. George after I send you the link, organizer, and send to him, inshallah ta'ala. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. See you, inshallah ta'ala, soon. We have many programs. It rests for me 2 days to have my holiday vacation, summer vacation. I work as a teacher. I will have 2 months free. Then we will have many programs. Thank you, Mr. George. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Well, thank you, and happy Canada Day to everybody here, whether you're in Canada or not.
Yes, happy Canada Day to everybody. And also I see to Muslim community, because today is the first day in Islamic calendar. Happy first Islamic calendar. They are gathering both and the people that I choose today is gather together. Always a city is behind us. Is the behind writing this is gather together. So this is the figure. Gather together, and I am drinking water in this cup that is written here. Thanks for making a difference. It's very nice. Thanks for making a difference.
Lovely.
So, thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.